All right, you guys are live.
Paul's here. Hi, Paul.
Okay.
Robert, can you hear us?
Robert, you're muted.
Can we unmute him?
He
Okay.
unmuted himself.
Okay.
There he is.
Okay. Okay, hi all, let's get moving. Dan sent us comments from the agenda that I had written, so I wanted to go through them. And we can then send our comments back out with our minutes. The flood damages, I really don't understand. And Tom, maybe you have some sort of an idea. We've been trying to get for months and months what the dollar value was from the damages in 2007, 11, and 12. And we can't seem to be getting that.
And I think he said what he's getting is the counties, but not the villages. Is that correct?
He said he's been trying to get the information from FEMA.
Peggy,
Yes,
I went to the link that Dan included there.
yeah,
It's for FEMA. God knows how to find anything in there. It was very, very hard.
yeah, but he's a genius at this stuff.
Even he said it was hard.
He's saying it's giving state data as opposed to county or local. I don't know if that means that it just hasn't ever been kept locally, but I would think from flood claims, that should be something that can be put together on a local level.
Well, if it can, he'll find it.
All right,
Could be in a file somewhere,
it should be.
you know.
Rob, maybe you could
Come
put it
on.
in our notes. We just need to get, is there a way to get it from flood claims?
I'm sorry, get it from where?
Flood claims.
Flood claims.
Yeah, I mean, FEMA has that because they send out a letter every year of what your flood claims have been and your history of flood claims. So they've got the information. I don't know why it's so hard to get. This is a bit of an issue. Tom, just to give you some background, George Latimer came to our first Zoom in July and asked for the village to put a letter together saying that we are still encouraged and hopeful and supportive of the Army Corps project. We were told we would have a draft by after the last meeting. The letter hadn't been sent, so Dan said he would get me a draft. Still no draft, and now we're hearing it by the end of the week.
I'll make sure it gets out.
Yeah, I mean, this is George. This isn't just us. This shouldn't be waiting. I guess the status of the Anita Lane Bridge is they've started. I honestly haven't had the chance to go down. My bad, to look at it. Has anybody else had the chance to see it by any chance? No, okay, so I will try and get there by the next meeting. That's just my bad. Regarding the Waverly Avenue Bridge, town beginning detailed design efforts, awaiting final design report from NYSDOT, coordinating with utilities, need to finish traffic schematic. So we still don't have a sense of when that's actually going to start. This 0.5 I was really confused by. Tom, we've been asking for almost a year, maybe even longer, for the water below the road to nowhere. And that came out of our meeting with Harrison on the road to nowhere, for water samples to be taken on the south side of it, because we know there's effluents coming out of the road during storms.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been asking, yeah.
I went to the Save the Sound site, and
sorry,
they have the water sample sites, water sample data
Yeah.
for the last 5 years. I looked at the 2020.
Mhm.
I didn't see anything for, I'll give you the names of the locations that they had data for. I didn't see anything that looked like it was the road to nowhere. Beach Point, Larchmont Harbor, Flint Park, the Mamaroneck River at North Barry, Rye Marshlands, Beaver Swamp at Rhinebeck High School, Sheldrake River at Columbus Park, the Mamaroneck River at Phillips Park, Guion Creek at Southbury, Otter Creek at Southbury Avenue Bridge, and Shore Acres. Those are the only reports 2020. And I looked at 2019, I didn't see anything there either.
I don't think it's ever been done. We've been asking for about a
He
year.
said it
for
was done. Dan said it was done.
He said it was done.
Well, exactly. That's my point, and that's why I'm confused, because now he's saying it was done. I don't believe that it was. I think there were samples taken, but not at the road to nowhere.
He's giving numbers here. Let me just check.
Excuse me, just which road is that? Because I know there's a,
So the road to nowhere is an extension of Glendale Avenue and Harrison. That's up. Are you familiar with Harbor Heights?
yes.
Okay, so it comes down and the
You know,
river.
I'm sorry, it might be there. If anybody's looking at that page, there are little balloons that identify locations. Maybe I didn't click on the right balloon. I guess it's further north than I thought. It might be there after all, I don't know.
Well, I don't think Dan made up the numbers.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but it says that this was completed. We don't know. All right, so I guess we all have to look into this and try and sort it out. But Steve, back to your question, and that was part of the river walk for you to see, but the road juts out into the river, and the river goes from about 30 feet wide to about 8 feet wide, bending around this road. And there are two sewer lines in the road that are in poor condition, and every time there's a storm, there is effluents pouring out of them into the river.
I can call Peter tomorrow,
If you have time, that'd be great.
okay?
Thank
That's
you.
that's in the area of Winfield Bridge, right? Or Winfield Road, is that where it is?
It's
Yes,
a couple blocks
it-
south.
All right.
Right. There is samples. There were 10 samples taken, 70% failed, 30% passed. It's the Mamaroneck River Joint Waterworks.
So that's a little bit farther north. That's probably
Yeah, it's not
Winfield
much
Avenue
further.
Bridge.
What is it,
So,
200 yards?
well, we had asked specifically because of the road and the effluence problem for it to be tested there, so we could go back to Harrison and say, this really needs to be dealt with after our meeting with Ronnie Belmont. So I think we need further clarification. Rob, if you don't mind calling them and just
No.
asking, is that testing from the Winfield Avenue Bridge, or is it from the road to nowhere?
It's from the Winfield.
Or where?
Winfield Avenue Bridge.
Should be taken just
And what's the street
south
location?
of the intersection of those two waste pipes.
Which is the road to
In
nowhere.
that concrete bunker.
Yeah.
Should be south of that, or Long Island Sound direction.
Well, if Peter wants to come, I'm happy to show him where we're referring to. It's literally across the street from me.
Do you know that area?
Been there once or twice. Okay, so we have a game plan. 1602 Ellis, it's actually 1606 is the new construction. And it is the new construction is located in the floodway, and I can share my screen with everybody if you're interested, because I pulled the map this afternoon. Let me just minimize this. So this is the new construction on Ellis, and this is the house, and anything that's this color purple is the floodway, and this property is, oh, no, I'm sorry, that's the river. This color purple is the floodway, and this light lilac-y gray is just the flood zone. So this property is clearly in the floodway. And what I asked, because I had this problem when I raised the house, we had setbacks from the floodway that we needed to meet in construction.
Well, don't the owners have to get flood insurance on that property? And how can they get flood insurance if it's in a floodway and it's not raised up?
It may be over the base flood elevation, Paul, but the question is
Oh,
the setback from the floodway met?
They don't have a mortgage, they don't need to carry flood insurance.
The problem isn't getting flood insurance in a flood zone. They'll pay through the nose if you're not over the base flood elevation, and it shouldn't be built if it's not over the base flood elevation. But I believe it is meeting base flood elevation standards. My question is, where they're starting the house itself, is it meeting the setback from the floodway? And I'm not sure that it is. So, so I think we need to go back, and 1602 was the original house on the block that owned the property, which is where the numbers got messed up, but it should be 1606. So I would like a little more information. And again, I know that when I was building, the reason that we cantilevered the structure was we were not allowed to put anything near the floodway. There was a setback we needed to meet, and we couldn't meet it unless we cantilevered. So,
what
question.
about the plans then for the house? Is it cantilevered? I mean, what,
No, it's not at all. Straight foundation.
how do they get a building permit then? If they deny, did the
I think
village
that this is
deny
a
you
question.
a building permit?
This is a question for the building inspector. I mean, I'm sure that there's an answer. I don't think it behooves us to speculate when we don't have all the, I mean, I can ask him about being in the floodway tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not being accusatory, Tom. We're just asking questions.
I
that
know.
will, you
There's
know,
no answers here. I'm gonna try and get you the information.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, this came up in our last meeting, one of the points. Dan told us that we are now paying for a weather service. And for the last two predicted storms, they predicted 6 inches per storm, where Weather Underground, NOAA, and even AccuWeather made correct predictions of the 1 to 2 inches that we received. And we're questioning, why are we spending money on a service if it's been inaccurate?
well, and to that degree too. We get 2 inches and they're predicting 6
Twice.
twice. I mean, that's designed to panic people.
Well, it did. Be sure it did.
I mean, I figure we can take 3 to 3.5, you know, if it hasn't been raining constantly, but you know.
Right. But it just seems, why are we panicking people? And why are we paying for a service that's been so inaccurate? And why are we panicking people unnecessarily? And I'm the first one that wants to know what's going on, but that just seemed like an awful big difference. So that, Robert, if we can just put into the minutes, can that be followed up?
Follow it up with Dan.
I guess, yeah. It's the proper way to do it. I got an answer from Robert Ingenito about, let me see if I can pull it up, because he did answer this evening and I forgot to copy and paste it, about the Spanish speaking. Let's see, is this it? That's not it. I'm sorry, I'll have to just send his notes around to everybody in a memo. I forgot to copy and paste that one, so we'll go back to that. So Tom, I'm sure you know the Army Corps is proceeding with some of the design because there was money left over. Did you know about this?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So we were just wondering, since Megan unfortunately wasn't able to join this call, have we learned anything more?
I will ask Kelly. I haven't been told anything more.
Okay. Then there was an email that Gina Van F sent, and Dan did respond to me tonight about this one. Did everyone in the committee see it? It was sent in September. It was about Columbus Park.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
I didn't.
Let's see, is this it? No.
You could probably open it on your screen, Peggy.
If I can
Whatever
find
you
it.
most read. You
Yeah.
sent it to me.
Did he? Oh, you mean Gina's letter?
Yeah, you sent it to me the other day.
Right. Well, the whole committee got it. It was sent to the entire committee back in September. Let me pull this down and see if I can find. I'm not sure I'll even find Dan's email at this point. So, and I've got too many emails to sort through, but I can send that through by memo tonight to everybody as well. Apologies. With everything else that's going on, it's been a little wacky around here. But apparently, I believe she was satisfied with the answers. So I don't think that's still pending. But I will send what Dan sent around. And that's all I've got, unless
Peggy, do
anyone
you
else
want to
has.
talk about what you told the Board of Trustees yesterday?
All right, I'm sorry, thank you. So I rewrote one other point that we had talked about ages ago and included it, but the first point was that anything built in the flood zone should be built 2 feet over the base flood, with our suggestions for local laws. Anything built in the base flood should be built 2 feet over the base flood elevation. Anything built in the flood zone should be built with pervious paving rather than impervious paving. And the third was some sort of a way to reconcile if new construction's going up, that every tree on the property is not leveled, that there's some sort of a control, and that only trees in the actual building envelope or a dimension around the building envelope, but not every tree around the periphery will be taken down. And Tom had a really good suggestion. So Tom, you can.
Yeah, when I was with the town of Mamaroneck, we passed the law, and the law required that any tear down or new construction, I think it was over 50% of the structure being teared down, would have to go to planning to get a site plan. And at planning, they could more easily address issues about tree placement and what tree stays and what tree goes, because planning has a permitting authority.
Right.
And the tree committee really, they're a good committee, but they make suggestions, right? They don't have, they
Just
can't.
like, wait, we're not a land use board.
Yeah. So I think it would be more fruitful to put that responsibility with the planning board. And I think it would also take away some of the problems with the proposed tree law too.
Yes.
Especially with, because I think that the big problem with trees in the community is when there are tear downs and when there are big construction jobs going on. Really, I don't think people have a lot of problems with a neighbor who thinks he has a diseased tree taking down that one tree. That's usually when you get those complaints, it's because those neighbors have been arguing for 50 years anyway. But I think this is a better way of keeping a developer coming in and clear cutting the property, because that usually what they do is they clear cut it because it just makes it easier for them to do construction. They can just get this stuff in and out, and they don't have to worry about any impediments. So in the planning process, you can kind of make them, or tell them which trees have to stay. And there's sometimes a tree has to be taken out because of construction, but at least there's a logic behind it.
I know, what we did in the town when I was there is with their tree law to say if you took down a tree, you had to replace that tree with the same caliper. So that should be part of our whole
Yeah, but
tree law.
If a tree's 100 years old, then it's got a, it's a 4-foot caliber. You can't replace that.
Well, then it's time for bargaining. But, you
Yeah,
know,
but
it's
but
to
my-
prevent them from tearing down a tree just for the heck of it.
right. But now does the law really is effective in doing that? Because you have they can't get a permit. Right now, if I'm building a house on a half-acre lot, or not a half-acre, let's say a 5,000 square foot lot, an R5 lot, I have an as of right to build that house. As long as I'm meeting the setbacks, the village has to give me a permit. So what I'm saying is make that one house construction require site plan. And then in site plan, you can have teeth to kind of, make your will known.
Well, I think it's more important for something like Hampshire, where there's mass cutting down of trees. And then you can enforce a caliper part of the law. It's a preventive measure. The town did it for that development all the way down on Fenimore Road on the right-hand side by the Scarsdale border.
Yep.
And, done other places. So it should be done.
Well, here we are back at the same house on Ellis, and they tore down 9 mature trees around the periphery of the property. They shouldn't all have been taken down.
No, it's convenience.
And the second thing is, Tom, I appreciate we should make it for the tree perspective, but should any house being built in a flood zone have to go through planning? A site plan review? I think that would be helpful. What does everyone else think?
That's what Kelly recommended at our last meeting.
No, it sounds good to me.
But right, that's what I'm trying to say, is that any house being built anywhere would have to go to a site plan.
I thought just over a certain size. I think any house should go to site plan review.
That's what I'm saying.
What are the next steps then with that memo that we sent to the Board of Trustees? Does the board work with that? What are
Say
the
that
next
again.
steps? The memo that we sent, what are the next steps?
I don't know off the top of my head. There's a lot of stuff in the hopper, and you just threw more stuff in the hopper, and I have
All right.
no ETA, but it's on the radar.
Is there something that we need to do to follow up, I guess? Or is it just something that the board comes back and says, we're going to adopt blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah?
But if they choose to adopt it,
Yeah, exactly.
but follow up.
We should.
I'm sure you will.
What? And another thing that I forgot to put on the agenda, apologies, there's new construction going on. I don't know if anybody's seen it on Waverly Avenue between Fenimore and Rushmore. There's a new building going up, commercial space, next to the stone, one of the
Rushmore?
stone. No, on Waverly, between Rushmore and, not Rushmore,
Fenimore.
Fenimore and what?
and Rockland, excuse me,
Oh.
Rockland.
Down by the Cablevision.
No,
Okay.
on Waverly, a couple blocks up. So,
Okay, well, that's a Cablevision lot.
no,
Yeah,
Paul, it's
or-
not near Cablevision. That's on Center, I believe.
No, it's on Waverly. The big lot that Toyota is using.
This is before that. This is
What
where
are they
there's a
doing?
row of little stores. There's a stone guy there and a couple of garages and a couple of homes.
Well, there was a factory there that had a lot of chemicals up on the roof, and because of flooding, they had to move. Remember that, Tom?
Regardless.
Yeah.
There's new construction going up, and I'm just, I think we need to make sure that it's being done in a flood zone to proper building standards. And I couldn't pull a number off the front of the building. I couldn't read one as I was driving by, and I haven't stopped. But I will try and find the number. But there can't be that much new construction going on Waverly. And I think it's something the flood committee should be, or Dan should be looking into to make sure it's done properly.
Actually, the Coastal Zone Management Commission should be looking into it also. It's part of their purview as a land use board.
I don't know. Just want to make sure it was done properly. I'll see if I can find a number on it as I drive by, because I go that way to go to work sometimes. So I will check and see what I can find, but nobody else has noticed it.
Not offhand.
No.
Okay, Rob, it's not far from you.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else? Guess not.
What's the
Oh.
follow-up with Robert Ingenito? What's the
I'm sorry?
follow-up with Robert Ingenito as far as the things he spoke about last week? How are we going to-
Honestly, I did not have the chance to do anything. We had the LMC gala.
Well, I'm just saying, going forward, what,
I need to work with him, and if anybody else wants to join us on getting the website updated with more history, that would be great.
so is he looking for more content from us?
Yes. Yes, I'll share his email.
Because actually, there's a lot of content, but it's kind of hidden in the weeds on the website. You have to dig hard to find the content, but a lot of it is there.
Well, maybe we
That's
need to
flooding.
figure out a better way of displaying it, so it's not so hard to find.
Do you have a page on the website? You have a page, right?
There's a flood section. But I'll share with everybody the email that he sent with me, to me. And then maybe we can brainstorm for next meeting. Minutes. Any problems with the last set of minutes? And
Yep,
if
very good
not,
job.
yeah, Rob does an amazing job. All in favor of approving them?
Approved.
Great,
Second.
we're good. I think that's it for tonight. Maria, you can make
Yeah,
your,
I can make
Wow.
my show.
I wish the BOT meetings ended this quickly.
I've got to say the meetings all seem to be going faster on Zoom than they do in person.
Well, just as a quick aside, I was thinking back about, flooding, and we couldn't get the amounts. I recall around 1988, and Joe Diaguardi was our representative in Congress, and he came to a village board meeting. Paul Noda was the mayor, and was all excited because he got the Army Corps project authorized. He was not happy when I said, but is it funded? He left the room very quickly, but okay. So 1988, 32 years, and it's still where the hell it was back then. So,
Well, Paul, it's also kind of like the Anita Lane Bridge that in 1945, the Harding report said the wing wall should come down.
yeah,
And maybe it came down, but we haven't checked yet. So
it's just frustrating.
it's not easy.
I have, Peggy, one other thing.
Sure.
If Mr. Bowman is elected, you
Oh,
want
Mr.
to follow up
Bowman.
with him about?
Mr. Bowman blew us
Very
off.
eager.
Mr. Bowman did not show up, and I have repeatedly gone back out to ask to reschedule, and his office has not replied, which is very disappointing. So, sorry, Rob, I'm not so sure I feel so great about Mr. Bowman right now.
He seemed very enthusiastic.
He was initially, but we had planned to do a river walk. He had confirmed it, sat on the front porch for 25 minutes and waited, reached out to a scheduler who said, oh, gee, I'm sorry, he had problems with his kids. He needed to stay home and take care of them today. And I said, well, can we set up a time to reschedule? And I've sent 2 subsequent emails asking the same thing, and I've heard as Tom would say, crickets.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's in the middle of an election. He's got a big area to cover. Let's give him the
He's
benefit
got a
of the doubt.
staff though.
Yeah, I don't expect him to necessarily respond. I expect a staff to respond. Even if it's to say, I'm terribly sorry, we can't do anything until the spring. He's overwhelmed with something. But I think it's not acceptable not to hear it all. But I'll reach out again.
Keep
You know,
trying.
he's, I don't think he's ever held elected office before. So it
He's
might be
run
a
a few
steep,
times.
what?
He's run a few times.
I know, I'm just saying, I don't think he's ever held electric office before. And as Paul will tell you, it's a different animal than running.
But I've been in touch with his scheduling person. So if he couldn't make it, that's fine. I get that. But she should be replying because she's not holding public office.
Yeah, it's on her. Oh, well.
So, and I've tried not to text out to him directly because I think this is smaller potatoes than he needs to be bothered with, but she does need to answer.
Well, I tell you, I've never heard from the man. And you would think he would contact the elected officials in the community he just got elected to.
Is Steve Glenner online?
Sorry?
Is Steve Glenner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right
Is
here.
there?
Can he speak and kind of introduce himself to us? I've never seen him.
Yeah,
He's a
I'm,
handsome fellow.
Thank you. Steve Glenner, been
Oh,
a
I did see you. I didn't know that was you.
Yeah, sorry. I've been a resident for 16 years and have 3 kids ranging from teenagers to mid-20s, and they all live here at home and live by Florence Park.
Have
And
you ever flooded?
yeah, and I've had flood experiences in the past, and haven't had a problem lately because we put extensive French draining, in backwater valve, backup gas power for the pumps. So a lot of sweat, to
Did-
get the house right.
Steve, does your house back up to the park?
No, it's across from the parkway. It's across from the main entrance.
Okay.
Are you on Florence?
Yeah.
Surprised you get water there.
Actually, I'm the low point of the neighborhood. There's actually a well. In my backyard.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Not when it's in your basement.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, as I said, luckily the basement hasn't had a problem in the last few years because we put a lot of work into it.
You did okay in 2018?
Yeah, we had the 2011 flood is when we got killed. Matter of fact, that was when we had two of them like 6 weeks from each other, and my car was in the parking lot in the lower parking lot for the first one, which I never park in except for that day, and then the big one here. I had actually 4 half horsepower pumps, and the best I could do was level the water.
How much did you have?
I wound up getting like 3 feet, I think, that day. And so I wound up having 2 half horsepower pump, 4 sets of it in the French drains. And so that's, ever since I did that, I haven't had any problems. So that, and the backwater valve, because we actually got a backup from the town one time,
Yep.
and since then I regularly call, and even though I regularly call and tell them to clean the pipes on my house, because if it happened once, it could happen again. So
Unfortunately. Yep. Okay.
I've never done that.
Anything
Can I
else?
add one thing since Steve is on the line?
sure.
Steve,
Yes.
there's archives of prior minutes over the last 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
If you're interested in going back to get a sense of the issues that were discussed and how they were dealt with, and get some more background as to what the flooding committee has been trying to do. There's
Okay,
a lot
thank
of information on the village website about flooding issues if you're interested.
Yeah, thank you. I did Google some of the information that you were talking about, so I tried to get, the only thing I just couldn't figure out which the road to nowhere was.
Yeah, you need to take it
That'll be
slow
covered, I
with
promise.
And all
That's
of a
my,
sudden, all of a sudden, I thought, I wasn't sure if it was if it was Winfield Avenue Bridge or the one in the, off by Rye but that was Harrison. I got it mixed up. I don't know. Because,
my rye.
yeah, the one that is that road, off of, by Harrison Town, and it goes into Rye, and there's like the bridge and it splits in half.
That Beaver Swamp down
Yeah,
by the shopping center,
yeah.
that has its own set of challenges.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, because they're building the Avalon, all the station parking has been put down into that Project Home Run field. And it's an issue because it floods Rye and it floods Rye Neck.
Mhm.
But Tom, that's another thing. We spoke about it last month. We have requested that we be kept in the loop on any Harrison projects that potentially affect us, but it seems like Harrison refuses to do it, to keep us as a concerned neighbor. There's nothing we can do about that, is there? In a word, no?
I'll bring it up to Mr. Belmont,
Okay,
but,
probably not.
Well, actually, in the flooding issues, we do have some authority because of our local waterfront revitalization plan. We went there when there was a reverend that wanted to build some houses up above the
Oh, yeah,
reservoir.
Straight Gate.
Yeah. And we went to Harrison with our LWRP and said, we have jurisdiction, and they capitulated. So,
That's probably because they didn't want it either.
well, who knows? But we do have something to say on adjoining, abutting communities. Tom, you should know that. You
I
would
do. I think you just have I don't think you have any permitting authority. So you could be an interested agency.
Yeah,
not
that's what we've always asking.
interested or involved.
You're not involved unless you have permitting authority.
Okay.
You're a concerned party, I believe, not an involved party. But we have asked repeatedly on the project where Straight Gate was going to be built. We've also asked them because there are 7 houses that are proposed to go up there to keep us in the loop, but they just don't seem to want to do it.
Well, can't you access their website and see what's going on?
Probably can, haven't done it.
If what they're going to say is it's online.
Right.
Well, we want copies of their applications that affect us. So, have the village attorney contact the town attorney or their planning board attorney or zoning board attorney and say, hey, we would like to be part of this. Can't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Worked before.
Okay.
I mean, if you're in you have a good relationship with Belmont, you can talk to him about it.
The problem is that we ask and then they never follow through.
Well, that's up to us too to follow through.
Yeah. But we don't always know what's coming down the pike until it's done. Like Project Home Run, I don't think any of us really knew what was happening, and all of a sudden it was being paved over.
They weren't supposed to pave that over.
I know.
They just did what they wanted to do.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna kick myself for this because this is probably gonna make us go long, but going, going back to Gina Von F's letter, according to Dan's notes, he said he didn't see it.
I sent him a copy of it this evening.
Oh, okay.
Right. I don't know. It went to an awful lot of people. And, it's conceivable with the amount of stuff he's gotten, he could have missed.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure that she got an answer because she's concerned about widening of
I
Columbus
don't know
Park
if
for the art.
anybody answered her. That's why I wanted to bring it up on the agenda.
Yeah, I don't think anybody did. If Dan didn't see it, then who was gonna, Tom, you guys didn't answer her from the board, did you?
We get a lot of emails from Gina. Which one was this?
This is about
Columbus
the
Park?
widening of Columbus Park for the Army Corps project, the widening of Columbus Park.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I remember seeing it. No, I didn't answer.
Okay.
All right.
If I answered all the emails I got like that, I would do nothing else.
So I'll send you Dan's response this evening. I just have to do that.
Okay.
There, that didn't take too long, Rand.
No, it didn't. Good.
You can watch the program.
Now I can watch my
How does it
program.
start?
9.
I think they wanted, at one point, they wanted to straighten out the river to go through Columbus Park. I mean, that's probably what she's referring to.
Well, but
The river makes
the
a
only thing
curve.
they were doing was building the tunnel under
Well,
the parking lot.
I thought that they were gonna make the channel wider
Yeah,
and deeper. They
They're
were
deepening.
gonna use Columbus Park as kind of a basin.
They're deepening it, and they're also building a diversionary tunnel
Right.
under the parking lot so the water would have a shot at going straight as opposed to doing the two 90-degree turns, which Steve, you'll learn all about when we do a river walk.
I remember Irving Scharf when he wanted
Oh my
to,
God, don't.
don't go there, huh?
Yeah.
How big of a pump do I need to pump all of that just out to the sound and it solves the problem?
I'll never forget it. And God rest his soul.
Oh my God.
Keith Fury said, I don't know, maybe about the size of Shea Stadium. Irving got back up and said in all seriousness,
Okay, well, when are we getting the pump?
Yeah, but he meant well. I mean, Irving was Irving.
oh, he did. I liked Irving.
You know, he wasn't a bad person. It's
Not
just
at all.
his
Not at all.
ideas were,
And we had told him we would hang it from skyhooks.
And he was never mean-spirited.
No.
no.
Okay, let's let everyone go and have some peace. I'll get everything that I owe you guys out tonight. And the minutes will send off to Dan Sarnoff and he can look into what he needs to. And Tom, if you can find anything about 1606 Ellis and that
I already
floodway,
sent him an email.
perfect. Because it's definitely in the floodway.
Mhm. Okay.
Cool.
Did everybody vote?
Not yet.
Yep.
I have to go drop off my absentee ballots.
I
Tomorrow
voted
morning,
today.
7:30. Does anybody know how bad it is at Town Center early in the morning?
No, we
I
went around
won't forget.
2:30 and it was 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
It's not bad.
I still
Okay.
think if I just go vote Tuesday morning, it's going to be 3 minutes in and out.
Well, we went in today because we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow and Thursday. So
Yeah, we're supposed to get a nice storm on Thursday.
yeah, Ziki or some Zeta.
That might be an easier time to go vote, actually.
Yeah, that may people don't want to wait in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pass.
Neither do I.
No.
You'd be surprised how many people brought umbrellas online.
Oh, yeah.
They
There's a
went
business.
to-
We could sell umbrellas Thursday at the Town Center. All right, all. Have a nice
All right.
evening. Cliff, thank you for staying with us.
Welcome, Steve.
You're welcome.
Yes, welcome,
Good to have
Steve.
you, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve, I'll reach out to you and we'll schedule something.
Sure, at your convenience.
Tom,
Good night,
thank you for
everybody.
joining us.
Thank you all for everything you do.
Have a
Take
good
care.
night, everybody.
Have a
Stay
good
well.
evening.
Bye.